So I think, let's see. I think we're live.
Cool.
It's one of those things where I never actually know, but if we are live, hey everybody. I'm super excited to have Ava, Queen Midas, Life Alchemist, back on the show.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I've been a lot more active the past few days. That's been really important for me, for my mental and emotional health. Like, had a pretty good CrossFit workout yesterday, ran today, just kind of training for a competition in February.
What? Tell me more. I want to hear about this.
It's a CrossFit competition.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be my first one.
So what would it entail? I want to hear all about this.
Whatever butt kicking.
I live my workout through you. I'm like, let Ava do it.
A workout for the world. So it really depends on whatever crazy CrossFit workout they put together. But for instance, yesterday was a bunch of deadlifts at the beginning, like 60 all the way up to like 80% of our max. A lot of rowing, handstand walks, or like wall handstand walks, lunges, pistol squats. Like it really depends. I mean, there's a lot of like crazy stuff. It's very like a challenge of how well conditioned you are and how strong you are.
I love it. You always inspire me. I feel like every time we talk, I'm like, damn, I need to get off my ass.
Well, that's how I was feeling. I was just like, I have not been, like, if I'm not getting into my body enough, like hard enough, intensely enough, my mental and emotional health is just not optimal. So
I feel that. I was actually I was listening to a friend's message, and he was talking about like how he almost worked like a little too hard today. And I was just like listening to it. And again, a lot like when I talk to you or hear you talk, and I'm like, man, I really need to I need to move my body because I can feel it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that dense energy that I'm feeling, and that like just that like heaviness. And it's like, yeah, because I haven't moved my body, like that's like a big part of my, like, I need to move my body. And we were talking about before like how it's cold here already, and that's where I get in the like full on like hermit like hibernation mode. So it's harder for me to like move my body, but it's when I need to do it the most because it's like stagnant energy.
I feel like a big thing. By the way, I just opened your chat, so if I'm looking down, like it's because I
got it open here too.
But hi Noreen, hi Ocean Odell, I've seen you before too. And Za Baby Bowden Hall, hi y'all. Anyway, I feel like that's a big thing in the like spiritual community, is we get so intensely deep into our energetic work and everything, and forget that we also have a meat suit, and don't fully take care of the movement aspect. Like we might be eating better or taking supplements and, you know, breath work and stuff, but we're not like moving that energy around our bodies a lot of time. That's not everybody, but
yeah, it's so true. Like at least for me it is. Like, and like I said, I feel it. Like I feel when I'm not moving my body. It's like things, it's like that emotion gets stuck, energy gets stuck. And you know, even especially like we've been dealing this last like little while in my household with like being under the weather. I feel like it's major ascension symptoms too, like all of us going through things. And a lot of it's like when you're not moving your body, it does get stuck, and you're like, you're dealing with things, or different parts of you are hurting, and it's like, okay, I need to move this stagnant energy. Like somehow my girls are like, they're so good at doing their own little like workouts in their rooms. Like they got their little 3-pound and 5-pound weights that my mom gave them, and they're just so into like a workout. But yeah, that's where I need to like take care of myself more that way, because it is, like you said, it's such a big part of this, of the whole compass of like, this is our temple, right? And like, we do need to take care of this, because it's gonna block so much stuff if we're not.
Yeah, definitely. Was there another question you asked me?
Well, no? I want to actually talk to you because you mentioned like things have been busy. So I want you to talk about that. Like, you've got a Patreon, you're back to doing like readings again. I want to hear from you.
I am. So I'm back to reading again. I kind of took a little hiatus, like soul searching break for a second, and now I'm doing it again. And my book is back open for taking appointments, and I also started a Patreon. So there's 3 alchemist levels, and the top one is a coaching tier, just because I've had coaching experience in the past, and like, it's been personal training, strength and conditioning coaching, like body and everything coaching. And now that I've shifted into the spiritual side, and I'm doing so much of that anyway in my like videos, or like I started to notice that my readings would turn into like counseling coaching sessions. And I'm like, I've been through so much, and I've been working so much, and like my awakening really like jumped off about 12 years ago, and really deep digging into my shadow work about 5 years ago. And it's interesting because, you know, the healers, the shamans, the Reiki masters, whatever, the people who are here to be leading during this time, a lot of us have had some of the roughest lives, and that's so that we could be able to show the way and help to coach and mentor people through the darkness, you know, to just rediscover their own light. So that's what my top coaching tier is. Sorry, there's a mosquito in here. And the lower tiers are just like exclusive content, private reading, biweekly readings, in a group chat, newsletter, early access to YouTube content, and monthly oracle read, a private one that's emailed, and it's like a 5-minute video and a picture of the cards. So I think there's something else. Oh, okay. 15% discounts at my partner stores. So at Liz Oliveira's store. If I know a lot of us know Liz, but she's the Liz Olive Show on YouTube. And then also Dory Sigler's store, Soulstone Organites, which is Organite pyramids, these beautiful pyramids, on her Etsy shop as well. So you get 15% discounts, one-time discount codes to both of their shops for all of the tiers as well. So.
Ooh, okay, so that is so awesome. I just put your link tree, I pinned that. And then awesome. The Patreon that she's talking about, I also just put that in there. That is so awesome. I love how so many people in this last little while are just like full on blooming. Like, I just see so many people around me, and it just like, it brings me so much joy to just be like, ooh, this person's on fire. This person's sharing. That you could, like, so many people are just like truly standing in their like authenticity, like realizing and owning their like gifts that they have, and like, and shining their light, and just like truly being the light that they came here to be. And it's so beautiful. So I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Yes.
I saw your show that you did with Mary from Glimpsing Beyond, and you were reading, and I don't know if I've ever seen you read like that, like for the collective live like that. That's like not an easy thing to do. And like your intuition, like the way you read, your intuition, I was like, this is so amazing. Like, I was just the whole time like, look at this girl go. Like, how does that feel? I want to talk about that a little bit.
It's just really fun. And then it's just like the stuff that comes through is just like and then it's funny because like I'll notice things on cards that I haven't noticed before, and I feel like I'm noticing them for a reason, so I have to talk about it. And then the best part is when the person in the chat who asked the question is like, oh yeah, that resonates, and it was my sister's dog, or you know, whatever, or something, and I'm like, oh, thank God that landed.
Yep.
never really know, but like things are coming up to be said for a reason. So
And that's where like trusting your intuition more. It's just like, then I feel like you start getting to a place where you stop questioning it and you start being like, what is that? Or just like, you're just flowing with it. And like, yeah, watching you read, I was like, whoa, she is just like channeling, and your intuition it was so awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, I love, and it was cool because like you were on Mary's channel. So a lot of those people within the chat that you were reading for, she had known them or done readings, and she was able to like confirm like so many things. I thought that was so cool.
That was really cool. And it was also funny because I was watching her face sometimes when I was reading, because you know how she'll always be like looking around because she's hearing like the entire football stadium talking.
I love her.
And I'm like, am I saying the right things?
I love it.
It's just funny. It was really fun. Like I'm always super energized after doing those because I don't know, it just makes me happy.
Yeah, you're like literally doing what you came here to do. Like you're channeling, you're using your intuition, you're connected to source. Like it's, what greater feeling, you know?
Yeah.
So you've been doing more readings. That feels good.
It does feel good, yeah. It felt really weird to stop for a while and just kind of be questioning like whether or not I wanted to move forward with it. But it kept coming back up that it just felt right, and that I literally asked divine creator God to teach me, and I'm like, no, this is right.
Yeah, actually, okay, so you mentioned that, I think it was when we did our chat with Marin, that you the way that you learned tarot, you asked God to like teach you. I want to hear about that more, because some people like have a really hard time with tarot, right? And it is like, I find I get stuck in like feeling like I have to know like all the different suits and all these different things, opposed to like trusting your intuition more. And so
Yeah, so in regards to that, there's intuitive readers, and then there's people who've like studied and just know the meanings behind all the cards and everything. And it's not that I've studied, I learned by watching. So I watched a lot of readers, and I still do, to see how they interpret and stuff and what comes forward. But I also, it's like a mesh of both of those things for me. But yeah, I grew up in the church, Southern Baptist. When I went to college, I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to go to church every day. So I just kind of like went on my own journey of self-discovery and everything. And it led me right back to God, like a few years later, or actually several years later. And in the most real, raw way, though, like in a real relationship where I could actually feel my connection and know that I was one with God. You know what I mean? And not that it's not like a he or whatever, this man up in the clouds who you have to kneel before and be afraid that you're going to get zapped to death and cast into the fiery pit, like all of that. Like, what?
I know. I hear you.
Like, that is the biggest lie. If God is love, that's it, period. Love is the only truth.
Yeah.
Period. And it was like July, August of last year when I started, not last year. Was it last year? No, 2 years ago. I started watching videos, like YouTube videos and or tarot videos, and just feeling like a call to the cards. And I was like, is this for real? Because I had the programming of like, if they're demonic and and I really sat with it, and I like meditated and prayed over it for a while. And then I ended up getting my first deck, the Light Seers deck. And because one of the guys that I watched, who was one of my favorites, used that one. And that's how I learned. Like, I would learn pulling on myself and then like writing notes and whatnot. And when it came to the teaching, like I didn't have the money to, or I didn't think I had the money to pay for training or whatever. And I didn't know who to trust and all this other stuff. And I was like, why would I not just ask source? So I did. Yeah.
Oh.
And then the more I did it, the better I got, especially like once I started a YouTube channel. And like it just, like you said, it just makes you have to, not have to, but you start to trust your intuition more. And then it just continues to open up, and just, it's like the floodgates just went. And then like not even a month or so into having a YouTube channel, I was feeling the need to like start actually taking clients. And I was like, is this for real? Like, am I ready yet? And it's like, yep, go.
I love it.
So yeah.
And how did that transition like feel and happen for you? Like starting to read for other people?
How did it feel to do that?
Yeah, to like being able to like step into like you know, that kind of like ownership of like, this is what I'm doing. Like
It was definitely different. I don't know if weird's the right word, but how it was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm doing it, you know, full card leap of faith for sure.
yeah.
And I don't know. And other people believed in me, and I'm like, okay, well, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
you talked about you took like a little break recently, kind of work on yourself and just like different stuff. So now you're back to doing some readings. That's feeling good and stuff.
Yeah, and that, and making more videos again, because I'd like slowed a lot of that down. I was on the verge of like going back into hiding again. And I'm like, no, no. Spirit was like, you can't do that. Like, you've been doing that for 2 years. Like, you started this, it's time, you know. So a lot of that was just I talked a little bit about this in my live the other day, but like fear of success and fear of failure at the same time. Fear of like manifestations not coming in, or like I mentioned, like failure, not making it, and having to go back to something that I don't love. And it's like, I have 2 degrees and 2 real estate licenses and all this other stuff, but none of that seems right, and it doesn't feel right. And what am I going to do? And, you know, so, and I'm finally on my path of like, I'm on the spiritual path, the healer's path. And this is for me. And it's, I almost said dark, but I don't mean dark like negative. It's like walking in faith in the dark, because I don't.
Yeah.
People might think that we know what we're doing all the time, and a lot of it's just like, let me just step, and you know, I'll trust that next step's going to be there when my foot. Like, so that's what's happening. It's like, and I'm the type of person who needs to know A, B, C, D, like what's down the road, this, and Spirit's just like, no, just go.
Here's your blindfold, like
Me like 8 times, and then just put.
Here we go. I love that you brought that up, because I think for a lot of people that like, you know, there is that like you're in and out of this like 3D matrix thing, and then you're like you're really coming into like we talked about, like trusting your intuition, what is your calling, and like stepping into that. And a lot of that usually is doing stuff for yourself outside of the matrix, like tapping into those higher dimensions and those frequencies. And but like we still have an ego, right? And we still have this like, we're still in the 3D like world matrix. So it's like, it's this weird like back and forth and weird, just like some days it's like when I'm not having to go to work and stuff, because like I'm very fortunate to like be at home with my kids most days, and then I go to work on the days that I do. And it's always like I have to gear myself up for like having to go like to work and I love my job, like I love it. I'm very blessed to have, like, I work with naturopaths and traditional Chinese medicine doctors, so I'm like, I'm working in the like healing industry, but it's still not like, it's not fulfilling like what I came here to do, and like really like living like my soul mission. So it is this weird like ooh, like, what do I do? Or how this feeling is weird. And then once you are finally like aligned with that, it's such an amazing feeling to be like, this is what I'm here to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like you see it, like I see it in people where I'm just like, man, like, you know, there's so many people I could just like list off right now, you being one of those people of like, they have found their calling. And it's just like, you literally see this like flower blooming, like it's the lotus just opening up of like, and we were talking, were we on air when we were talking? I don't think we were, talking about like the shit that you've been through. Was that on air or off air? I can't remember now.
Maybe
We had a good conversation off air too.
I know. I was like, do we need to hit record?
Yeah. But like maybe I think it was on air because you were talking about your Patreon and the coaching part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, like you're being able to like share like all that shit that you went through was for a reason, mm-hmm. you know, and you're here now like helping people for that. So I love that you brought that up because it is so important. And I've been feeling a lot lately of like major like time warps or like timeline jumps or like, what day is it? What time is it? Like, are you like, how are you doing with it?
So it's interesting that you said that. And it was really interesting. We were talking about Taylor's video earlier, Taylor Moon's video that she posted a few hours ago. And in that video, she talks about waking up today and thinking it was a different day. And other people in her chat thought the same thing. And I was like, that's crazy. Because Liz and I this morning were doing the exact same thing. We're like, is this she Marco Polo'd me and she's like, happy Friday. And I'm like, wait, what day? And she's like, wait, no, that's not right. So yeah, time has been weird. Days have been weird. It's like the days kind of seem fast, but slow. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like they seem fast, but then not sometimes.
Yeah. It's literally like these weird like time warping things. Cause I've had days too where it's like, I'll look at the clock and I'm like, what? It should be like way later than that. Or other times I look at the clock and I'm like, holy shit, like what just happened? Like 3 hours, you know? And then also like it's already Thursday night. I'm like, how is it Thursday night? I'm like, what do we do this week?
Seriously. And yeah, I like can't remember yesterday, which is weird because I have a good memory and I'm like, what's happening with these days? I would be interested to know if there was something specific with today though, because that's a lot of people that I've heard that were like, this was not this day.
Yeah, let's see the chat. We've got some good people in the chat here. Let's see. How are you guys like? What is the energies felt like for you guys? Have you guys also feeling like today and even like mine has been pretty much this whole week of just like weird time. We've got Ocean, we've got Keith.
Keith?
What's Neckbone's actual name? You know her
Noreen.
Noreen. Okay.
Yeah.
Who else here?
I love that.
Who?
I love that handle, Neckbone.
Neckbone. I'm always like, who is Neckbone? I love the energy of. Well, now I know Noreen. Let's see here. Whoa, I missed like a ton of chats. I'm sorry, guys. I learn by making a lot of mistakes. Yeah, Keith. That's, you know, it's definitely our mistakes and setbacks are definitely the places that I feel like we learn the most from. Mm-hmm. Ocean always has the best comments. The universe loves us.
No. I think you had a question.
Is there a question there?
Who is it who had a question just now? Hold on. It's at the very top and I just passed it. Za Baby Bodenhall asks, what is shadow work? That's a really good question.
What was it? I missed that.
What is shadow work?
Oh, great question. Mm-hmm. Do you?
I can.
You both tackle that, or? what is it for you? Like, it's going to be different, I guess, for everybody too.
I was going to say that for me, it's, as of late, I guess I would say it's acknowledging my triggers, like the things that come up. A lot of it's been like in conversation or interactions, or just if something rubs me the wrong way and I feel like I start to feel myself get offended, I'm like, okay. It's like having the taking the personal responsibility to like own your stuff and acknowledge when you start to feel offended, and then observing that, like, why, what is it that's offending me about this person, because that's really reflective about me, and that's something within me that is an area of opportunity for healing. So let's say that, trying to think of trying to think of an example. Like if in conversation, if somebody is talking down about people with, I don't know, say like a learning disability or something. I don't even know what the PC way is to say it, so I'm gonna just say it. I don't know, considered a learning disability, which a lot of it I don't think is. I think a lot of it is just like sometimes starseed qualities maybe.
Oh yeah.
But so, okay, let's say somebody's talking about that and I overhear it, or they bring it up in conversation and I start to get like really offended about it and blah, 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 blah. And say that I'm a person that has that issue, that I used to get bullied about it a long time ago, and I just like stuffed it down. And so there's all this resentment and like hardening of my heart and stuff around that, because I, like, in a sense, they're talking about me and they're like calling me out, but I've been hiding that, you know, or like built this persona around it to hide the fact that I have that is a part of me. That's a really like, I don't know. I don't know. That's
a great example. Yeah.
But that would be instead of like my anger would be, or my anger or hurt or frustration would be misplaced if I'm like attacking that person for attacking someone else, because I'm not really upset at that person necessarily. I'm more so hurt because I'm having these thoughts and memories about the times that I was bullied, and then maybe even upset at myself for shrinking back and like putting all these layers of masks on to hide who I really am and not show up and love myself, you know. So it's like I feel like it's a lot of it is misdirected. It can be misdirected, like annoyances or anger or frustration or something that really says something about us that we need to address, that needs to be healed. That's like coming up and it's like, hey, yeah, I'm ready to be healed and transmuted, you know. And now I just look at things like that almost as blessings in a weird way, even though they suck a lot of the time. And y'all, I've been dealing with so many insecurities and triggers. And I was just talking to Tanya about this before we started. Yesterday was like petty devils all day. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Because what for real. And so I take that time to stop, and I'll ask for help to just identify what it is that I need to address, and like, what are my lessons here? And please show me with love and mercy, you know, so I'm not getting like that almighty kicking.
For sure. And that's all like getting out of that loop, right? And you're starting to like, you recognize when it's like, okay, wait, I need to take a step back. I need to like, what is it that I'm here? Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? Like, opposed to like staying in that loop of like, whatever it is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it like lack? Is it whatever it is that you're being triggered for? Like getting out of that loop and working on the spiral of working through it and like approaching it differently, responding differently. I love how you brought it up about like taking the responsibility, because like for me that is like when I think about like what is shadow work, it's like yeah, truly like taking that responsibility. And like, if you're standing in your sovereignty, that is owning owning the responsibility of
Yeah.
like, and that's all parts of you, you know. And I feel like we have been, you know, I grew up religious a lot, like you were talking about. I grew up Catholic, and then I became a born again Christian. You know, if you want to use like a label and stuff. So like I was very like, you know, I've gone deep into a lot of the stuff, and it's like we're taught all these like going outwards, of always like focusing outward. And there's
Mhm.
like, you know, we've like we talked about too, it's like you've come here in like sin, and you're like this horrible person and all these different things. And it's like it's everything but that. But you have to like break down all these like indoctrinations, this programming, and truly find like what is your truth, what is your stuff. And that's going like deep, and that's going like into the, you know, the shadow side. You know, a lot of that has to do with like, that's why like the ego part of us, you can't just like push away the ego, like we're here, we chose to have a human experience. That human experience comes with an ego. So you can't, the ego shows us a lot, you know. We can't, we got to like make sure we like, you know, we just don't let it run rampant.
Yeah.
But I feel like our ego side shows us these things, right? It's that mirror. It's that like you were talking about, like if there's something in somebody that they're doing or saying, and we're getting like frustrated or angry or annoyed, that's our mirror like showing us like you got to do some work on yourself because that's your shit. That's like a place that you need to heal still. And you know, it could be like maybe this person is a part of your contract of like they were here to show you that, you know. And it's like, how are you going to get through this? Are you going to work through it? Are you going to stay in that loop?
Mhm. It's like acknowledgement versus denial of our stuff. And I
And we're
lost.
not taught to own things. We're
Yeah.
really not. Like, we're not taught to own it. And it's like, just fucking own it.
Mhm.
And like, you know, work through it. And like, once you're out of it, like you said, once you're out of it, you can look at it and be like, oh, okay, that's what I had to learn from this. And like, now I'm like in this part. But it's not easy when you're going through it.
No, it's actually, it takes a brave soul to look inward and crawl through our darkness, like sometimes literally crawl on our hands and knees and camp out there
Yeah.
and scrub around and reclaim the light there and love our darkness because it's created who we are, and it creates areas of opportunity to grow and evolve, and that's what we're here for. So also what you were saying with like church about being a sinner and everything's outward, it's so externalized, which is so ironic because I guess like most of the basis of religion that I feel like we're kind of taught is this personal relationship, accepting Jesus into your heart and everything, which makes it seem internalized, but everything else is externalized because we're putting faith in this person and then like calling out to God, and everything is being humble and other people before me. And it's like, oh, there's a mosquito in here driving me crazy. It's in my face like, preach, girl. But and then and it's like asking for forgiveness or asking all this
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like, no, the forgiveness starts with self, and it's totally avoiding the self journey.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not saying this to bash religion. I'm saying this as my observation from the outside because I've been on the inside and I see it from the outside with new eyes now. And I've experienced more growth and like again a real raw relationship on the outside now. So
Yeah, I feel like once you find that, you know, that God source is within you, and it's all about going inward, you know, whether it's like doing the deep work or like deep love inward and like truly loving yourself. It's all, once you like realize it's all that inside work and all working on yourself, you just like really realize like, holy shit, they have really taken that away from us, you know, or like hidden that from us. You know? And it's
go ahead.
No, it's just like it's just you start to realize how amazing we are and how powerful we are.
Yeah, that gave me chills. And another thing is, the more that we do that, the more we learn ourselves, and the more the beauty in that is we learn and can acknowledge and love each other easier, because we understand our cycles and our responses. And so it's easier to be compassionate with and empathetic with another person, because, oh, I see myself in you at this point in my life. You know what I mean? So it brings this connectedness and this humanity back to the realm, which is what we are moving to do right now.
That's so beautifully said. It's so true, because the other side of that is like the mirror part is also when you see something in somebody that, you know, that you love, or that, you know, makes you smile and brings you joy, like that too is inside of you, whether you know that or not. And it's like, that's another aspect of like the whole mirror of seeing these, you know, whether it's the shadow or the dark, or I mean the shadow or the light. And it's all about showing yourself.
I saw the term for that when you see something in that you admire in someone else. It's called the golden shadow. And it's like, we don't ever hear about that. All we ever hear is like, if you're annoyed at someone, then that's something about you. But we don't hear about like, you know what, if I love this in this person, da, 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 da. Well, that's in you too. You know, that's them reflecting your beauty back.
I love that. The golden shadow. I'm going to use that one now.
I don't remember where I saw that. I saw it like a year ago somewhere.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I don't feel like that's talked about enough.
No, it's definitely not. That's the first time I've heard it. Like, I mean, I've heard the, you know, the meaning of it, but not like being like named the golden shadow. I like that.
Yeah.
We got Karen's 11. I know you guys all call him JR. Got Arthur. Hello, Arthur. I saw Liz too. She's in here. Hey, Mama.
Hello.
Feeling your mama. I had all my. I don't think you're over your guest date yet, but all my babies were 2 weeks over. So I remember those end times.
Oh, I did hear you. I saw you say that in the chat, and she's like, "Oh God."
My babies just like it inside, I guess.
That's so cute. They're like, it's warm.
Yeah. Vic Mac, hello. He says Ava's wonderful. She is wonderful.
Oh, y'all so sweet. We have the coolest communities, and it's
I love how we're all connected. Like that's the best. And you know what, the chat always, it's just like, this is where it's such a blessing to be able to connect with like so many different people. Like you just meet the most amazing people, and just it's such a blessing just to be able to connect with, you know, there's people from like, what I know Keith is in like New Zealand, right? And then the States and Australia. I'm in Canada, so it's pretty awesome.
I always I call it like I'm calling it like neighbors' houses now. I'm like, isn't it cool that we'll go to somebody else's channel? We're like, we're at the other neighbor's house and everybody's in the chat. It's like this neighborhood. We just hop around. So-and-so's live. Okay, we're going next door.
I love it. Yeah, that happened last weekend. It was on, who was it? Okay, it was on Jason Ramirez's channel. He had, I think, like 6 people on that night, and Jason and Kristen were like 2 of the people on, and they were like all pumped up, and they're like, we're gonna go live after this, so they like jumped over. I remember Marin, who we did a show with last time, she was in the chat too, and then we all like kind of jumped over to Jason and Kristen. She's like, this is the best like pub crawl ever. It's like so true. Like this is so much fun.
Oh, I love it.
So Keith is saying that Liz did a really good video about It Takes a Village. I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, it was good. Really good. I think that was her very last, like the most recent video.
I'll have to go check that one out for sure. So what
Oh,
is
Harley Ray Crystal shops in here.
I love Harley Ray. I got my, every time I light my Soul Tribe candle, we always got the Soul Tribe coming in. It's actually, I had to do another order because it's like, when I lit it today, I was like, oh, it's like at the bottom.
You're the one that like, the only reason I know about them. And I was like, oh, okay. I think you posted the website in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to post it again here. I love Harley Ray. Ocean says the energy is really intense. Yeah, okay, I'm glad we're not like the only. Liz says, yeah, the energy's been wild. Oh, time has been wild lately. JR, time has been flying by. The last 3 years felt like, oh, I feel that too, actually. So my son just turned 4. So like, he was only like a year when all this like crap happened. And I just feel like, again, like it's just this like time warp of like, he's 4, like what? I'm like, what just like what happened? And I mean, like, I get it, like time goes fast when you have kids, but it's like, for him, it was like way different. Like, I'm just like, what happened? And sometimes even I'm looking at photos of him as a baby, I'm like, what? Like, what? You like what happened? I was here the whole time, like, and I have my kids home with me too, so I'm not like, you know, leaving them. And so it's yeah, I feel that one for sure.
He was so cute on your video with Mary last week, and he was like trying to peek around your head.
He wanted to come in so bad, and I was like, I just like, I grabbed like my book. I'm like, no.
I know. I get that though completely, so I can totally respect that.
Yeah, I used to like when I was before I got the boot off Facebook with my girls, like, you know, years ago, I would post like pictures of them, videos, all these different things. Now, what I know now, I'm like, oh hell no, my kids are not going. Yeah, like I'm like so many cute things that I would love to share, but nah, not until things get completely cleaned up.
Seriously. Hi Maya. I hope you get better. She says she's a little under the weather.
Oh, that's another thing. My whole household that we were talking about that, it's like, whew, we got like, and so many people that I'm talking to right now. And it's this weird kind of like under the like different things happening. Like I feel like I'll start off like this in the morning, and then the afternoon I'm like here and dealing with this, and by the evening I'm here. And like from day to day, like one day I'll be like not too bad, the next day it's like horrible pains in my, all these different weird things, and my kids too. So I feel, yeah, everybody seems to be, or a lot of people seem to be going through a lot of like, I feel like it's major ascension symptoms that we're going through right now.
Could
and
be.
Like purging.
I'm not a hurt person. Like I'm not like an achy, painy person, but my right hip has been feeling so weird, like for a month now, maybe. It's almost like, I don't even know. It feels very jointy, but almost like it's out of joint sometimes. But I'm really flexible. So it's like, I'm flexible, but I'm also really strong in my hips. And it's like, I don't know. It's weird. Like I shouldn't be hurting.
Right.
But
well, we hold a lot of emotions in our hips.
Yeah.
That could be like, it could be like part of the, you know, purging. And it's like, honey, you got to get that, move that out. Cause yeah, I feel like most of the stuff that I'm feeling in my body is all things that I need to like, it's my body showing me where I need to work through things.
Yeah. Whenever I do get deep hip stretches, like I just make sure I'm really present and aware of what's coming up, because we hold a lot of anger in our like groin area and shame as well. For me on this hip, it's more at the outer like femoral head. So it's just weird. I don't know. That, and then sometimes my left knee. And I know that knees are like fear of moving forward. And then the left side is the feminine side. So
interesting. That's where mine's been too.
Really interesting. Interesting. We're both like stepping into our purpose more right now. So it's like,
you got me just like,
kneecaps need to get with it.
Yeah, come on. I've also like I've been working a lot at it's my left side, so like no, so like it makes sense what you're talking about. So my shoulder has also been like both with my reflexologist and one of the girls that I work with, she does osteopathy, so they've been working on that like quite a bit. But those are like the two places that I really been feeling. Hips are always I always feel like my hips are always like popping and like oh, I need to stretch that.
Yeah. Oh, I love hip stretches. But yeah, my hip pops pretty aggressively sometimes. People are like, whoa.
Yeah, I get that too. I love it. I also wanted to talk, because we talked a little bit off camera, and this is again our girl Taylor Moon brought this up. Her video, I shared it, but I'll think I'll share it in the chat here. I'll try to find it as well, because it was such a good video. I just love that girl so much. Boundaries.
Yeah. Do you want me to share it? I have it like right here.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Quick.
I just pulled up my Telegram. I'm like, I know it's right here. So
great. But yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about boundaries, because this has been coming up so much, like it just keeps coming to my forefront, and then I hear all these other people talking about it, and I feel like we are definitely in this time of like setting your boundaries and really like honoring these boundaries that you're setting, and not being like are really being true to yourself. Like, what boundaries do you need to make? Like, where have you allowed like people to like overstep, or you've given away your power, or what's holding you back? And really, because I feel like every time you level up, your boundaries need to level up as well. There's just like energies that, like, I feel like there's certain things, like people and places, like I have no qualms whatsoever about not interacting with those people or not going to those places. And like, I don't care. Like, that's just like, I don't want to be around that energy whatsoever.
yeah.
Like, what are you feeling about that? What about boundaries right now?
I was having a conversation about that, like, I think it was it yesterday or today? I don't know. I was pretty much saying the same thing, where people were like, well, what about your friends out there? I'm like, I like 2.5 people know that I'm back in Dallas, because like, why? That Ava is literally dead. That Ava does not exist anymore. My soul is more purified now than it was then. Like, I'm not going to be around the same people that I was when I was here last time. And that's what it is. Like, everybody can't go where we're going. So some people walk beside us on they're part of the journey, and then we split paths, and that's that. And that's just life. And so I love the way that you put that, though. Like, as we level up, our boundaries need to as well. It makes so much sense. And I was actually talking, this is kind of relevant, but not, but still it goes with it. So I was talking to Liz yesterday about feminine sexuality and magnetism, and how one woman might attract attention in one way versus another woman. Like, say a woman attracts more attention from men in like a lustful, like sleazy way, where they only see her as an object, versus another woman who is more in her divine femininity and like the healed aspects of herself, and just like exuding more like of a divine energy. And when men come up to her, they're respectful of her and looking at her as, this is a woman who's partner material. So and I was mentioning, I was like, yeah, I've noticed that as I've matured spiritually, I don't attract that type of energy anymore, really. Like, those guys, they might be checking me out from over there, but they're not stepping to this, because they know
It's the vibe that you're putting out too. Yeah.
They don't want to get ate up. So
I love it.
But yeah, Liz and I were just talking about that last night. Because I was like,
you guys do a show or you guys were just chatting?
Just chatting. We text like all day. We texted Marco Polo and voice chat like all day.
Love it.
The three of those. And I was like, well, I was like, but isn't magnetism like and beauty and just that's part of our femininity, correct? So it's not necessarily a bad thing for us to go out and get approached regularly or whenever, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's the energy in which it's the energy that we're magnetizing is what is again reflective of our consciousness and what we have worked through or haven't worked through. So interesting, that goes back to mirrors again.
Yeah.
So it's like, what energy am I putting out? Because that's what that is the lure that I'm putting out, and that's the fish that I'm catching.
For sure. It's so true. Because I find that even, going back to like the chats, like there's a reason why we see a lot of the same people, you talk about like in our neighbors, like channels. I love that. I love neighbors channels. It's so true. Because we're like, it's the vibe that you're giving out. I've always loved the, like, your vibe attracts your tribe, because it's so true. And that goes in partners and relationships and stuff too. Like, I feel like we are living in this time of like instant manifestation, and really like as shining your light and your true authentic self, you're gonna find like all those amazing people and the collabs. Like that's the amazing part, right? It's like we're letting go of all this, like especially for women, because this is such a big thing that I feel like has been put on women, of this like competition and this like, this evil eye, and this like even the whole like not honoring like the difference in each other, right? Like of like girls in high school and even like elementary, like it is brutal. Like, what is that one movie?
Mean Girls?
Like that is holy crap, like it is legit. Like girls shit is like, guys, I feel like, and I mean, I'm not a guy, so I don't know, I'm just going off of like what I've like seen or talked about, or like had people talk with me about. But girls get nasty, right? Like there's and really when you go back to sisterhood and to womanhood and what it truly always was meant to be, it true like you I haven't seen that episode, but like it does take a village, and that village is like women coming together, like women. Oh, I need to really get back to the Red Tent. I have not read that book, and I started reading that book like in the summer, and I haven't gotten back. Again, time warp, holy crap. But that's such a beautiful story of like women when they came together every month in the Red Tent, and like this is where they shared, like they would all the things that they would hand down from their grandmothers or their ancient wisdom and knowledge, and they would share it with each other. It wasn't a competition, it was doing things together. Like you would nurse other people's babies, other women would be, have the kids with them, and the others woman would be doing this, and we birthed together. Like women did everything together. And I really feel like we're coming back to that. And that's part of the rising of the divine feminine. It truly is like you're seeing your sister. You're really seeing that, opposed to like what this world has like tried to make the woman be. And then when you come to the realization that all these women are not even, so it like that's a whole other aspect of like you grow up like seeing all these women and like the women's body, and you can never get to it. And then when you start to like wake up to like all these truths and shit that's been going on, you realize, well, yeah, because they're not even women.
That chick's a dude.
It's like, no woman can actually look like that, you know?
Yeah.
But again, it's all that like taking away from that divine feminine, you know, that creativity, that sexuality, that you know, like really that bumptuality, like women have curves and all these different things.
And sometimes they don't.
And sometimes they don't, yeah.
And that's okay, because there's beauty in different,
all different shapes. Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that too, because I'm such a girl's girl, and like I grew up playing with boys because they did the fun stuff. Like I was always climbing something, I was always running around barefoot, like dirty, like let's go play, like doing something just wild. And I mean, I was a tomboy, but I also always really loved dressing up too. So I could do both. And I don't know. I kind of feel like, I mean, I might have done, I feel like as a woman, we've all done like something catty or said something catty at once. Cause that's just everybody, men and women have some sort of like where they're like punking someone else, period. But to the extent is one thing. But since like my mid-20s, I feel like I've just, at least my mid-20s, I've just only been interested in like forming relationships with, like strong relationships with women. Like I don't need to be against anyone. And it's funny because a lot of the unhealed feminines don't know how to come up against that energy. Like they don't know how to deal with being loved by another, like receive loving energy from another woman. You know what I mean? Because they're so on guard and ready to just be have to like tighten up as soon as another woman comes. It's like, girl, relax.
Yeah.
Like, let me fix your crown for you. You good.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. We are here to fix each other's crowns.
Yeah. So, oh, and Liz actually talks about how in Mozambique, it's like that as well, where the women are just, they're together a lot of the time and they raise the kids together, and they're just like, sounds like a very similar situation to the red tent situation, where they're sharing stories, and they're, you know, the kids are playing, and they're all raising each other's kids, and the kids know that they're going to be supported wherever they go. It's not like oh, that's just my house and let me get through the neighborhood real quick and hope that I'm safe until I get to my house. You know what I mean? There's always somebody looking out. So yeah, that's goals.
Totally. Yeah. And that's where like we're working towards that, right? We're breaking down these like these programs and indoctrinations that they've put on us, and we're going back to our roots.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm still
okay. Liz just said, yep, everyone's kids are everyone's kids about Mozambique.
Oh.
You okay?
I am. I might have to get some water.
Okay. Do you want to get it? I'll just scroll through the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna grab some water. I'm like, I've got this tickle that I need to.
Oh yeah, I realized I posted Taylor's video and I don't have a wrench, so it's not linkable, clickable. But hi everyone, hold on, let me go back up. Oh, thank you, JR. I love your hair. Oh, you're welcome, Zababy.
Can I give you a wrench? Where I don't see one of your posts.
If you hold.
Can you?
If you hold, are you on your phone?
I've got both open.
Okay, if you want to look down at the very bottom, I'll just press, or I'll send hi so you can see my name. And then I think if you just long press my name, you should be able to make me a mod.
There we go. Learn something new every day.
Every day.
I saw, I had seen, I think it was Ginger mentioned wanting to do another Zoom. I thought I
Ginger.
saw something about a Zoom, and I'm hoping maybe this weekend. I haven't, so it might be like last minute, but tomorrow's already Friday, I guess. Again, it's like, what day am I on? But yeah, maybe last minute tomorrow night or Saturday if people are up for, maybe Saturday, because I guess Jason and Kristen they've got a pretty long live that they do on Friday nights. So Saturday, if people are up for a Zoom, I can I'll put together I think, so my friend Heather was saying that I can put together a link and people can sign up for it to join the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I'll see if I can figure that out, because that sounds like way easier than trying to like send it out and people trying to get it.
Yeah. I saw yours last time, but I was in the middle of something. I was like, dang it, I can't jump on. And then Saturday night, I'm going to the Greek food.
The what?
The Greek food festival.
Oh man. I love Greek food.
No, so it's been here like my whole life, and I'm finally gonna go. So I'm excited.
Do they have like entertainment too?
I think so. I'm going with my Greek friend, well, and a few other friends, but I hope we do some dancing, because I'm like, teach me some dances. I want to do it.
Totally, I love that.
Yeah.
Wait, let's see what's going on in this chat here.
What time do you think you'll make your Zoom?
I don't think I have anything going on Saturday other than like I work during the day. So I could probably try doing it earlier than last time, because I know with all the different time zones, sometimes it gets like late for people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't quite figured out. I've got my kids home this weekend too, and I know. Oh, actually, Saturday I'll be at my niece's birthday party, but I'll be home by probably 7:30, so maybe like 8 my time.
Okay, which will be like 10 here. Okay, I might be able to.
Are we at a 2-hour difference?
Wait, I don't know. I totally just made that up. What time is it there?
It's 10 o'clock here right now. Is it 12?
Oh, it's 1 hour. What? Where did I get 2 hours? I'm like, 2 hours.
I was like, oh shit, are you at 12 o'clock right now?
No, that's hilarious. Okay. So should we see if anybody has questions about boundaries?
Yeah.
You all have questions about boundaries in there? Hello.
Yeah, anybody want to talk about boundaries? What's been coming up for you guys lately? What's happening? The other thing too is like in regards to boundaries is like being okay with losing or letting go of relationships with people. I think that's a big one where people, especially because, and I get it, like these last 2.5, 3 years have been hard, and a lot of us have already lost a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as you're leveling up, as you're like, doing the work, there's some people that aren't, and naturally some people are not going to go with you, like you were saying, right? Mm-hmm. And that's okay. It's okay to like outgrow people, or to just not like vibe with their energy anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people right now, there's certain relationships that they're holding on to because they just don't want to lose yet another friendship or relationship, or even like, I know a lot of people are breaking up right now in relationships because it's just like, it's bringing all this stuff up. Yeah. Even in relationships, I think there's still people like holding on to relationships again, because it's like, you just don't want to lose yet another person in your life. But sometimes you got to realize like, they're just not on the same journey that you're on. Like we're all on our own journey, but you're just not on that same path.
Yeah. It's also an ego thing when we just want to keep holding on, because it's like we want to hold on to the comfort, or not feel ashamed that this didn't work out, or the embarrassment of, you know, another failed whatever. Yeah, even with jobs, you know, because it's like people are holding on to dead end jobs and whatever and stuff where they're getting disrespected and not treated well, or not paid what they're owed, and what's that word? Over exerted. I'm trying to think of a word where like you're not acknowledged for, or whatever. I can't think of the right word, but yeah, it's a huge lesson. Like Mary talks about how we've been purging a lot. I think a lot of us have been talking about that, but it's not just like stuff and emotions, it's relationships, it's attachments to ideas and comforts and the norm or the status quo, which is big Saturn return stuff. Not Saturn, Uranus in retrograde, but Saturn return as well. Because Uranus shakes up the status quo, and I think it's still retrograde right now.
It might be.
I think it is. And then Mars just went retrograde.
Like, yeah, Mars just went retrograde. I felt that, like I really felt that way.
Yes, and it's in Gemini right now. So that's air, that's communication. And then it's causing this like what you say to me, you know, this like
I had that today, like really badly, where I had to like, I did have to, again, I had to like, there were certain boundaries that I was like, okay, no, like this is getting to the point where it's like, I'm allowing too much to happen and this isn't okay. But before I hit send on that email, I was like, I need to read this over.
Yeah, girl.
Myself.
Check yourself real quick. You know,
there was so much stuff that I wanted to say that my ego was just like, just say it. And I was like, is that really gonna help the situation? No, it's not, you know. I really am, yeah, the whole Mars retrograde, I'm like, whoo, okay.
That's hilarious. And aren't you a Taurus? You're a Taurus. So like your horns were out. She was bucking, y'all.
Totally. And then we're coming up on like we've got on the, what day is it here? We've got the eclipse happening in Taurus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can feel it.
11/11, by the way, you all. Manifestation energy. Say an affirmation real quick.
I just did the 10/10.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the 8th is next Tuesday. Oh God, is it? And Tuesday is Lunes Martes. That's Mars Day. That's the day of like where you're not like, I think in Hindu culture, like they don't shave on that day because it's a more aggressive day. It's ruled by Mars. And it's a lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is on that day.
I think it's a blood moon too. I'm pretty sure. I haven't had time to like really jump into this one yet, so I need to make some time.
Me neither. I know. I haven't done any astrology videos in a while, but
no, this week seriously kicked my butt. Like there was a lot. My kids really needed me this week. We were under the weather, so there was just, yeah, I'm just kind of like coming out of this, like, what's happening in the world here? Like, what day are we on? What's happening here?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Who's low vibe?
What's happening?
No, somebody was like, yeah, those guys are low vibe. Not us, I don't think.
I missed that. I'm so bad at like watching the chat. Like it goes by quickly sometimes and I'm like, where are we at?
Sweet Ginger Cakes, that's a cute name.
I know.
Hi everybody that we miss saying hi to. Blanche, Linda, Windy Day, Sweet Ginger Cakes.
Linda's in here too. Chelsea.
Yes, Chelsea.
Wow.
Sometimes it's funny to just look at the chat because, like, you know how conversations will just be going. It's like, what? Dry vinegar? What are y'all talking about?
Like, what were we talking about when that came up? I love it. Oh, I love this comment from Ginger. She says, I'm so grateful to my girlfriend. We had gone through this awakening together. After 12 years, we've gone through a lot. Wacky and wonderful. Even 12 years ago, I felt she was my soulmate. Oh, right in the heart.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's awesome.
Is there a time limit to boundaries? Ooh, good question, Keith. For me, again, I feel like your boundaries change as your journey, as you're going on your journey, right? There may be like time limit wise, I don't think so. If there's something that somebody's doing in your life that you're like, hey, no, this is a boundary. I don't think like after a certain time, you're just like, okay, you can do that thing now.
Yeah.
But I think boundaries can change as we're like evolving and changing.
I feel like the time limit is a boundary within itself. Like, because what if you want to put something up like, oh, for instance, somebody who might be like, I'm turning my phone off for the weekend, or I'm not available for this, that, and the other for the weekend. That's a time limit to a boundary.
Good call.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like to like find this.
There we go. See, we're just all learning this. That's so true. I hadn't thought about it that way.
I hadn't either. That was a good question.
And that's a big one. Turning your phone off, disconnecting. Whew. The other day, I finally like got outside because we had been having such cold weather. But the other day it was nicer. And I got outside, I walked my dog, and I realized like how nice of a day it was. And then just spent some time outside, worked like, I planted a little bit more garlic and just kind of was covering my garlic, like getting my hands like in the dirt, and then just spending time. I got my kids to come outside, and it was like, holy crap, I realized like how much I really needed to ground myself.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that a good feeling? Like just the reconnecting back to earth. It's just like, why have I not been doing this?
Yeah, grounding is a big one for me. And usually like I'm a very like grounded, like grounding is something I make sure I really do. But in the wintertime, that is when like I said, I like hermit more, right? And I'm like hibernating, and it's like, I don't want to go outside. I'm like, well, my blood isn't made for this weather.
It's good that you have so many plants too, because I mean, you can like touch them, talk to them. So that's really good.
Yeah, my plants, I've said so many times that they're literally my therapy. Like they literally are the best like therapy I've ever had.
Yeah, and then they're just so beautiful, and they're just like babies, you know, because you have to still take care. They're more life, and especially for someone who lives alone. Like, I loved having plants when I lived alone before I had pets, because it's having more life in your space, you know, even if it's not something that's actually interacting with you. I don't know. I don't know. Some people do some interesting stuff with plants. I'm not there yet. I want to be.
Oh yeah, my plants have definitely been able to like lift my mood, help me to get back into the like giving. Like they're always like giving to us, like with their, you know, cleaning the air, purifying the air, all this, like just even like for me, plants, like they just make me so happy. But then, you know, when times are like, you know, if they're struggling or you know, adjusting, like now through the winter, it's like I gotta have my plant lights on, I gotta adjust my watering, I gotta have my like humidifier.
Yeah.
And it's like just that giving back to them too, if it's this beautiful like relationship that you have with these plants.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking for if there's any other questions real quick.
Oh, what do we have? Okay, vinegar was my how to clean the copper cup. I just, you know what? I honestly, I probably don't wash mine as often as I should. The other day I was like, when did I wash this last? Because I always have water like sitting in it. I was just looking after I realized I hadn't been washing it. I was like, I should probably get some more copper cups, and I want to get like a copper, like more like a bigger vessel to hold the water. But I just do like a tiny bit of soap and wash it. I've never tried vinegar, but that would probably help. Are you, I don't know who originally asked that, but are you having like issues with your copper cup that you're not able to get it clean?
Oh, okay. Sweet Ginger Cakes was saying that the guys that I no longer attract or that any woman, like when she shifts, no longer attracts are low vibe guys. Okay. Sorry, that was really random.
Oh, JR only got 3 hours of sleep last night. His vibes are strong. The energy's been intense. Yeah. I didn't get what was the jealous by in a good way. What was that? What was the jealous by?
Where?
I think Linda said, she was saying, I'll have to admit, I'm a little bit jealous. Oh, but in a good way. Oh, I thought she was talking about buying something. I don't know what she's jealous about.
Sweet Ginger Cakes. Yes, hematite's really good for grounding. And I think it's really good for helping you to fall asleep too. Like it helps with insomnia. And I think warding off nightmares, I believe.
Yeah, it's a good one for pain too, if you're dealing with pain. Boundaries needed, upgrading as necessary. Yep, so true. Yeah, I love hematite. Hematite's one that I've got a few different stones that I have that I set up when I go to work. Because when I'm at work, I'm literally like, it's like electronics. Like, yeah. I'm just like, this is too much. So I set up my like hematite, I have my Merkaba, and then I have like my big stone of shungite, and then I've got black tourmaline like over here.
Nice. Those are all really good.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
JR set a boundary. He said, I had to tell my boss I'm done working weekends. My house and mental health need me. That's so true.
Good for you.
Yeah. Linda's going to do some grounding, repotting plants this weekend.
Yeah, girl. Oh, Linda, do you have any cactuses? I'm sure she's in Albuquerque. So my mom right now is in Sedona and she keeps sending me like all these photos. I'm so happy for her. Like this is such a big part of her like healing that she really needs. And just seeing her have so much fun, but it's just, it makes me think of back home in New Mexico because it's all the like red rocks and the mountains and the cactuses. And I'm just like, oh.
I don't know if I've ever heard the story, but what took you to Canada?
Oh yeah. My mom had remarried somebody from here. I was like 1.5 and my brother was 3. And she married him and brought us over here. We've been here like ever since.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't realize that you grew up there for some. Well, I mean, you have the accent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was like a later in life move, but wow.
Yeah. So all my family is like is in the States. So we would go back home. Like we'd always go back home to and stuff. And for a little while, my brother and I would like spend some summers with my dad and stuff like that. But growing up was in Canada here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I think.
Do you feel like doing a check-in with your cards? See what. How do you feel about that? I don't want to push you into anything.
No, it's okay. With Oracle or Tarot? Or a mix. Okay. You just look, you're like, girl, both.
Yeah.
Check-in. Like, what would the question? What do we have a question?
Let's see.
My ring light's making me sneezy or like sniffly again. So weird.
Maybe with all these, like, you know, these energies right now, like what, I know a lot of people are going through quite a bit of emotions with all this. So is there any like guidance for people right now to like, what can we be focusing on to get through this? You know, it's so easy, again, like taking that responsibility opposed to like watching the dates, or like, you know, that's where we talked a little bit of I think we talked, I'm trying to think, like, was that us that talked about this? But about, or maybe it was Taylor too, and I felt like I was talking to her in that video. Like,
I know, right?
she would be like talking, and I'd be like, yeah, girl, like different things. And I'm like, me too. Or like, so I think it was actually her video. I don't think it was that. But
we were talking about it though.
Okay, yeah.
That on.
But like somehow, like, you know, about the like the truther community, right? And sometimes like it's easy to get like lost in it, in all these different like the white hats and the lions and like this date and that date and all these different things. And again, then that kind of, it takes you away from like doing your inner work and going inwards and like, what can I do right now in this now moment to help me through this? And because sometimes like I feel like dates and waiting and all these different things brings anxiety for people. And then you have this crash when I'm not saying that things aren't happening. I truly believe things are happening. We're just still not really seeing a lot of it like out in the open. Like I can feel things are happening. But it's like so many people really want to see it. So I guess kind of like what can we give as a nice message for people to help through this time?
It's really funny that you mentioned anxiety, because I picked up the cards and I was shuffling them, and one card fell out, and it was the five of swords, which isn't usually a card of anxiety, but in this deck it looks like he's really anxious and like I don't know what to do. So I looked at it and just put it back in, but then you said that, I'm like, okay. I'm gonna pull from, I feel like I need to pull from here first. Okay, so for protection from Archangel Michael, and any messages of motivation, insight, encouragement. What does the collective need to know from our angels, ancestors, divine creator, beings of the highest white light, of full and complete truth only, unconditional love only? What do we need to know? Of course, this is funny. Okay. So before I pull tarot, I'm going to say this, and this is so fitting. Okay. We were talking about this just now, the anxiety, surrender to inner peace. So, and I'll start with what Tanya and I were talking about before we got on, and I'll lead back to this card. So we were talking about how I love that Taylor brought up the spiritual side of the truther community, because it's really, I still find it weird for it's like this identity thing where people kind of refer to me as a truther, because I'm like, I'm not putting out intel, because when I think truther, I think a person putting out intel and stuff, but we're encouraging people to find their personal truth, and that's the truth that matters. You know what I mean? And so we are on the side of what Tanya and I were talking about, everyone, is that what Taylor was saying is we so resonate with it, because we are on the side of encouraging people to rediscover their selves and rediscover and reclaim their power and sovereignty, and cut out all of the waiting for someone to do this, or waiting for this date for this thing to pop in, and for the money to do this, and for that person to do whatever. It's all of that is externalizing our power. It's externalizing our responsibility again. And it's also it's living in this fear and anxiety state, because it's like, what if this doesn't happen? Oh my God, is it going to happen on this day? And we're not present when we're doing that, because we're like fixated on this thing happening, and we're attached to results and expectations in that space too, which is interesting. But anyway, says surrender to peace, cultivate inner beauty on a daily basis. In quiet, meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. We've been talking about these things like in one way or another this whole time. My light is really like aggressive. I don't know how to. Okay, well.
Yeah.
But look how like free, and just this person is just like leap of faith again. And I know I'm going to get caught. I'm trusting myself, and I'm trusting the universe, and that's all that matters. And the inner peace, I've been saying this a lot lately. I had to tell somebody yesterday, I'm like, look, there is nothing more important to me than my inner peace. Like nobody or nothing is more important than that right now. And I am protecting that at all cost. And I feel like that's where we need to get back to. And requires us to come back to present and come back to ourself and our divinity. And in saying that, surrender your ego. What we're talking about, ego. That's why I laughed at these cars. I'm like, okay, look, it's about to get good. Cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. Humility goes back to that shadow work question we were talking about. We have to humble ourselves and take the responsibility to address our own stuff, because when we're deflecting and we're placing the blame other places and being the victim, and I'm whatever, like just feeling like we're constantly being attacked, that's us in our ego. That's us trying to protect our mask. We have to humble ourselves to ourselves, and go and deal with our stuff, and truly move from our heart space. And that's where we find that inner peace, is when we set that stuff aside and we're real with ourselves. So those were really cool cards to come out. And I think that's something that we can really focus on going forward. And especially with these eclipses, or this next eclipse coming up, because I think this one is to help move forward. Like the last one was to help close up stuff and move things out, like a purge type energy. And this one is to help move things forward. So what better space to move forward in this? What better time? Cool. And
I love those cards.
I know these are like such beautiful, soft shadow work messages. I love it, because it's like it's some very like direct message, but the energy behind them is just so beautiful. And I keep being called to talk about this one, surrender your addictions, because this was at the bottom of the deck, and I keep looking at it, so I feel like I had to talk about it. And look, she has a mask, y'all. Addictions to hiding, addictions to not owning up to stuff? Who are we faking around and not being authentic around? Take your mask off.
Yeah.
You'll experience more peace doing that. Whether you're addicted, and I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself too, because I'm working through some of that stuff. Whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take actions to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. So I don't know if anyone needed to hear that specifically, but I kept feeling like I needed to talk about that.
That's a huge one. Yes.
Okay.
What?
What?
They are.
What
I
happened?
don't know, is he being silly here?
Does Ava date clients? If not, I don't want a reading. Actually, JR, you got to be the first one to sign up for my coaching now because you out here tripping. Congratulations, you're the first person for my coaching tier. In my last chat, he's like, I don't know if I can handle all that. You just got voluntold.
Yeah, love it. I love it. And just a reminder, guys, I just posted Ava's abilities, like, so you can book with her, but at the very top I did pin her link tree, so you can find your link tree will lead you to like all the different areas, donations too, if you want to donate. So her link tree is in there. I'm also going to put your YouTube. I love your YouTube. The other night I got on, and I'm forgetting his name. Well, you and Liz do a lot of shows together.
Joel.
Oh my God. That was like random. It was like, I was called to that because it was random. I like went on my phone. It was like, and I was trying to like kind of take a break, and it was like, and that popped up, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, listening. I'm like, oh, this is a good talk.
Right? He's so cool.
Yeah.
I snagged him off of some other dude's channel because I was watching his, and I'm like, do I want to contact that guy? I contacted that guy. He has a bigger channel. But I also was like really feeling Joel and his message and his energy. And I found him on Facebook, and like we connected and did a quick like a Zoom and just chatted. And I was like, okay, I'm excited. Let's do some videos. And now we talk, and it's like, it's so cool. His background is so cool. And I just love the way that he presents information and his perspectives. And we just get into some deep topics that I feel people really wonder about and want to hear more about. So
yeah, I love it. I'm definitely gonna catch more of you guys' chats.
Yeah, and his wife, I'm gonna have her on too. She's pretty cool.
I love that.
Okay. Trying to remember exactly what I asked.
Oh yeah. Basically just like was there any like guidance or things that can help us through these energies and time that we're feeling right now? You probably were a little bit more specific. Does anybody remember specifically what she said?
Okay, so the first thing that came out is the Seven of Cups. So this it's like there's a lot of energy options, things that are distracting, but there's only one right cup, and there's only one that has flowing life force here, water coming through it. And like the dude is like, it's like it's like, yeah, almost, when the crowd's like, oh my God, is he gonna it's like, do it? Yeah, he's like going to choose the right one. So I almost feel, this is so weird, I've never interpreted it this way, but I almost feel like Spirit's like, you got it. Like you just stay on track, use your discernment, use your intuition, filter through your stuff. But do that, and you'll know what's the life-giving choice or avenue. And I don't really know what that's in terms of. That could be people making decisions about something. It could be people trying to filter through emotions, or like get clarity in situations, but it looks like there's just lean on your intuition, because you'll find clarity there. There's a lot of cards of like thinking and feeling like left behind or like abandoned. This is interesting because I feel like this is stuff, it's in the middle of the spread. So depression, anxiety, hopelessness, nightmares, whatever. But look at this dove of hope right here in the midst of these crows or whatever these birds are. There's this light, and it's like, look up, girl. You're not helpless. Look up, girl. The key's right here. You can let yourself out. You're not abandoned. You're not alone. You know, you're not stuck. All of this is like, whoa, I get it. Okay, this is all like, this is us when we're putting our faith in our, like trying to place responsibility or too much hope in someone else, when these people can all find their truth, even him. You know, like slow down, look it over, really look at all these cups, because that one got a bat wing, that one's got half a snake, like there's this Skeletor back there. Like, what? You choose the one with the water, because we know you thirsty. And like both of these girls, like, look up, these are two people with their heads down. Look up, people. And maybe even that's a sign to like look up when you're outside, because you might see something in the sky or a cloud formation or something that sparks a thought that helps to move you in a new direction. And plus, when we're looking down, physiologically, it's a closed off, like sheltering posture, and it causes this hormone cascade that is not a confident one. When we're open and our shoulders are back and our head is up and we're like looking at the horizon, that's a more confident posture, and that causes more it just like heightens our frequency. So I almost feel like that's a message in itself, like hold your head up, because you know you're manifesting right now. This is the Magician card here. So big manifestation energy. There's reciprocation coming, because we've been, if you've been doing your work, if you've been putting in it could be physical work, it could be shadow work, it could be loving your family more, loving yourself more, whatever it is. And people might be feeling like they've been forgotten or been passed over, or like they're not reaping their benefits. This is here. It's coming. And then also the Queen of Pentacles is here. She has everything she needs. She's resourceful. She knows how to get what she wants.
She's one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, Earth sign. Yeah. And she's sitting pretty, no cares in the world. This is like, with that figure 8 too, this is one of the cards in the deck, 2 of the cards in the deck out of like 3. This one typically doesn't have an infinity sign, but there's 3 cards in the deck that have an infinity sign. This is like fated energy. So I feel like we are just on a collective level shifting into more clarity and more. I've been feeling a lot of solar plexus stuff for myself lately. And I feel like that has a lot to do with this. So like renewal, recalibration of solar plexus. It's like putting in the work. Look at these are even chakra colors. Sacral, root, solar plexus, throat. It's like standing in your truth, your authority, creating from an authentic space, knowing that you're stable, secure, your home in within yourself first. And you'll find that, like, you find it in yourself first, and then that just keeps giving back to you, because you can't externalize again. I feel like this is a lot about not externalizing stuff. And then we are the change. With this manifestation here, he's sitting above his world. And I said this in my post in Patreon, that your universe begins and ends with you. Everything that comes into across your path is for you. Everything that's happening is for you. Every interaction, every challenge, every victory, it's there for your soul growth. What are you going to do with it? Let me say, she says, stop, you're making me tear up.
Oh.
And this card, the Page of Pentacles at the end, there's a lot of pentacles in here. So that makes me feel like there's a physicality coming with like, you talked about changes coming, and it feels like it's like physical things that we might see or experience that we're really going to know, like, wow, there's been a real shift, or there is a real shift happening right now. And she's balanced here, and there's like a root coming out of her foot. So it's something's taking root. And
new beginnings. I always find the Page of Pentacles. It's like something new is starting, come in.
Yeah. I just got a gift. I don't know. That could be very specific for someone. Clearing space. I don't know what that means, but clearing space or something like that. Because I've never noticed it, but I never noticed there was a tree line back here. And it's like she found her place here and took up that space and cleared it and set her own roots. It's like claiming authority or claiming territory. Interesting. I have never gotten that from this card before.
I like that.
And she's peaceful in it because she's being herself. This is a lot about taking the masks off, being real, going inward, and like being authentic and just fearless, because it's a warrior's walk. You know, it takes courage and bravery to really dig through yourself and discover yourself and learn to love your darkness and learn to how to integrate it and use it to manifest the life that you want, and like tap into the universe and co-create the life you want, you know, because I feel like, and this is really hard to say because I'm like, where is it then? If I'm manifesting this, and why isn't it? But I was just about to say, I feel like these things, whatever we've been manifesting or waiting on, I don't know why I'm seeing this and I feel like it's like right there. Like there's something about just like lifting up and grabbing it. And I have no idea what that means, but I feel like things that we want and desire and deserve are right there within our reach. Like just keep going because we're like right there. Interesting.
That whole spread, I feel like, was like exactly like everything we talked about throughout this whole chat.
And look, the sun is at the bottom of it. Like what? Look at that posture. I was just talking about that. Open heart.
Open heart.
Solar plexus energy.
Where can you find that joy? Like, where can you, I keep feeling like a lot of people right now need to like truly like find themselves, find their joy. What brings them joy? What brings them happiness? Because that's where we truly need to like, because when there is a lot of like distractions, the 7 of Cups, right? There's all this distractions. Which way do I go? Find your center, find yourself. Take yourself on a date. What do you love? What do you like? What can bring you like that joy and happiness? That gets back to that like inner child work that keeps coming up of like inner children are like, they want us to like find joy and happiness. And the Sun card is exactly that. Like it's just
100%. As you were saying that, and you were like, take yourself on a date. Like if you're someone wanting love, show yourself love first. Like I'm just saying this from a woman's point of view. Like say you want flowers or something, buy yourself beautiful flowers and put them out there in your house so you can see them.
Stop waiting for someone else to do it.
Yeah, give to yourself and experience what it feels like to receive those things, and then those things will come back to you for you to receive from other sources. We are not externalizing anymore. We are internalizing. And then those things manifest outside, but it all starts inside.
Oh, I love that. That's been coming up for me a lot.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, a lot of like receiving and just like showing myself the self-love, especially like you know, like where have I not loved myself? And then that's, you know, in relationships, you know,
Yeah.
goes right back to boundaries. Like, where do you let people walk all over you? Where do you let people, where do you let yourself get like pulled so thin, or, you know, just all different things. And it's like, it goes back to that self-love and setting those boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries are so important.
Yeah. And I feel like she got to where she was because she set those boundaries. So now she can sit and not have a worry, a care in the world, you know?
I feel like the Queen of Pentacles definitely like is the embodiment of like, this is who I am. And like, I don't care what you think about me. Like, I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to shine my light. And like you said, she got there because of doing that.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a nice spread.
That was awesome. Like I said, I love seeing you with your intuition just coming through on those cards. I love it. I love the way you read cards.
Thank you. It's so random too. Like what was it? Mary was like, "Are you gonna do a spread?" I'm like, "Girl, no, I freestyle." I'm like, I literally listen. Like sometimes I'll just hear split, and I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll see how this one works out."
And that's listening to your intuition, right? Like, I mean, like you talked about it. If anybody didn't catch the beginning, she talks about how you learned by asking spirit to teach you. Like, so you are very like intuitive in the way that you read, and I love it. So I posted again if anybody missed her Patreon. Super excited for your Patreon channel.
Yeah,
So
JR, he's the first coaching client, so congratulations.
there you go. We've got your link tree at the top, and I've posted your YouTube and Telegram guys too. Ava's on Telegram, so if you're on Telegram, I posted it up there. Find her. She has some great people in there too. Again, you're gonna find you'll find these same people, right? You want to connect with these. You're enjoying these chats, right? This is where you can continue these kind of chats and sharing all the positive, loving, good vibrations.
Yeah. Can I share this card real quick?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so this is from Mary from Glimpsing Beyond. She sent me like 5 decks, y'all, and like Palo Santo and crystals and sage. Like, yeah, she's the bomb.
Obviously, an earth angel.
I know. Okay, so I love dragons, and she sent me a Star Dragons Oracle. And I just picked this deck up and looked at the bottom. Y'all will not believe this. Okay, so this card says, challenge, stand up for your rights. Like, you can't make that up. We were just talking about boundaries. I didn't do anything to this. I just picked it up because I felt like there was a message and I had to look at the bottom.
I love that. And that just more confirmation, right? And this is again where this is where I see, because like we talked about at the beginning, like, you know, people will say things like, oh, tarot and all these things are like evil and bad. And it's like, how, like, when you see how your whole reading just aligned with our whole conversation today, it's like, that is source, you know, that is just confirmation of everything we've been talking about. It's
seriously beautiful. And they were all messages of empowerment. So I'm like, how is that evil?
It's all what you make of it, right? And that's not saying that people don't obviously use divination for evil purposes, but with anything, there's the shadow and the light. What did you call it? What did we call it again? You brought up the golden shadow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in the chat here.
I also thought about this 7 of Cups, because our emotions with the solar eclipse energy, because our lunar eclipse energy, I know that, and the moon is like subconscious stuff. So I know that I've been having a lot of emotions come up. I feel like this is, don't believe the lies and the programs and the old stuff coming up to be healed. Still choose the truth and life and the flowing water. Choose that. And ignore the lies and the petty devils and whatever's coming up to sway you. That just came up.
Oh, I love that. So good. Thank you so much, Ava. This has been so amazing. I love having you back on. I definitely wanted people to get to know you a little bit more. And yeah, just you've got so much going on right now, and I love watching you bloom. So yeah, guys, if any of you are not already following Ava, definitely head on over to her. Let me post it one more time for your YouTube. And then, like I said, her link tree is at the top there, so you can find all of her ways to get a hold of her, to book a session with her, her Patreon, donations. This was so amazing. I definitely want to have you on more.
Yes.
Back again.
Yeah, it's so fun. I just like this, I don't know, these chats and these collaborations and just the women that we're meeting and, you know, just the people that we're meeting and collaborating with is just, I feel like it's like life-giving. And I don't know, I'm like, I always get hot, first of all, during these because I'm like so excited. And then afterwards, I'm like wired.
Oh yeah. I'll be up now for like, I'll have to like do a meditation to like bring me back down to like, because it's so awesome. It's the connections are they're true. Like that's, you know, again, I know Linda was talking about how she's lost a lot of people through this time. But when you really start focusing on all these connections that we're making right now, like these are true connections with like with our soul tribe, our people, right? Like these are these are our people, and these connections are just, they're priceless, and a lot of them are, you know, many lifetimes that, you know, we're reconnecting with people, and it is such a beautiful time to be alive right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys all so much. I love each and every one of you. The chat is always so much fun. Ava, such an amazing time. Definitely want to have you back again, girl.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so you guys make sure you check that out. I'll also after I'll put it in the regular like comment section so that you can find Ava as well. So lots of love to you all. Be gentle with yourself. Hydrate, and work on those boundaries.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.